Okay, we're going to start with MP flexion. So the forearm needs to be supinated, resting on the table, or you can also alternately support the forearm this way. You're going to observe active MP flexion with IP extension, and then you're going to stabilize across the metacarpals. If you're testing all of the digits at once, you're going to stabilize all the way across. They're going to be in mid position, and your resistance is going to be at that volar proximal phalanx. If you need more digits, you can use all of them if you need to. When you're going to do a gravity minimized position, you'll have the forearm in mid position, and again, you're going to put your pressure on that proximal phalanx if they can go through full motion. You can test each digit individually. You'd stabilize. You might have to get closer to the patient. If you're doing individual, you're still doing the same positioning, but the other digits can be relaxed. You do feel you're going to need a little bit different support if you're testing a digit individually here. If you're in that grade 0 or 1 and you want to palpate, you're going to palpate in that distal first web space. All of the intrinsics are very deep, and because they're very small, it's hard to detect that small contractility, but that's where you'll palpate. Next, let's do MP extension. The forearm is going to be pronated. The MPs are relaxed. You watch that active extension. You're going to stabilize the wrist and the metacarpals. In mid position, you're going to put your pressure, I think I'm going to stabilize right here. You're going to put your pressure on the dorsal proximal phalanx. If you're testing all at once, dorsal proximal phalanx for the MP extension. If you're testing individually, you can, that was okay, so we were not in mid position. Let's go right here. We were doing, yeah. So our mid, we're going, here's 0, we're testing into hyperextension basically, and your resistance is going to be right there. You can test individual if we wanted to do individual right here, and you're going to be on that proximal phalanx. Hold it right there. Don't let me pull down. Okay. MP, that was MP extension. Let's do, if you're palpating for that lower grade, you're going to palpate on the dorsum of the hand, feeling for that, mostly that extensor digitorum. If you needed to be in a gravity minimized position, you're going to be forearm in mid position, and you're still going to be moving. You're going to stabilize those metacarpals again. When you see that they've got full motion, then you can apply resistance on the back of the hand, at the, not the back of the hand, but on the dorsal proximal phalanx right there. Okay, PIP flexion, the patient is going to be supinated. We're going to observe active PIP flexion. We're going to stabilize the MP joints and proximal phalanx. This is one that's probably better to test individually. You can block the other digits. You're still blocking this one MP here. Your pressure is going to be on the volar middle phalanx right here. Then for this digit, the next digit, and I'm going to stabilize here this way. If you need a gravity minimized position, the forearm is in mid position. You watch that they've got full motion again and get mid position, and you can apply slight pressure there. If you're at that 0 or 1 muscle grade and you're trying to palpate for contractility, you're going to just be palpating on the volar proximal phalanx. You can also palpate deep in the palm, but again, these are hard to feel. Let's do DIP flexion. The patient is supinated. You're going to observe DIP flexion. If they're active, you're getting some PIP flexion as well. We're going to stabilize the PIP joint and that middle phalanx. Let them flex just the DIP joint, and then your pressure is going to be on the distal phalanx. You're blocking each individual joint. And you'll find that a lot of people, he's not able to isolate that profundus as well. You may have some people that you have to allow them to test 2 at a time. Your profundus doesn't excurse very nicely. If you need a gravity minimized position, which is rare, but you could put that forearm in mid position and go through the same procedure, blocking each joint this way. Okay, finger abduction. The palm is going to be pronated. We're going to watch AB and adduction. That third digit here, we consider it to abduct. It goes both directions away. So if this is the midline, it abducts away. I like to say both radially and ulnarly, but you could also say lateral and medial. Let's stabilize at the wrist and the metacarpals. Your pressure is going to be on this lateral or radial side of the proximal phalanx for the index finger. Same for the middle finger. Then we're going to have to shift a little bit and get over here on the ulnar side for the ring finger and the small finger. Oh, I skipped the middle finger. There we go. Your palpation here, if what we listed on the template is that if you're going to do gravity minimized, you're going to be in this same position. If you're palpating, you're going to be again in that distal first web space for that first dorsal interossei. You can also palpate the medial fifth metacarpal, maybe feeling for the abductor digiti minimi. Let's do finger adduction. Okay, now on the template, this is the one that has shoulder at abduction and pronated for index finger. That's going to show more like here. That's showing that pure against gravity position. This is rarely done. Typically, you're going to find people doing it more resting on the table, like we're doing for these. You could also do, if you wanted to be purely against gravity for the ring finger and small finger, you can do it this way. The template has the test position with the MPs adducted, and we're stabilizing the wrist and metacarpal and coming in to do, don't let me pull out, this way. Pedretti shows against gravity this way. Okay, and then against gravity this way. And we're not doing that third digit because we only consider that it performs abduction. And you're really not able to, at that grade of 0 and 1, you're really not able to palpate the palmar interosseous that are performing that motion. Gravity minimized is really where we're doing the testing when your palm is pronated on the tabletop. IP extension, the forearm is pronated. The wrist is, we want that wrist in mid-extension in order to avoid that passive insufficiency. You watch for active PIP and DIP extension. We're going to stabilize. Let's do this. We'll start on this ulnar side of the hand. The proximal phalanx, and watch active extension there. Your pressure is going to be on that dorsal middle phalanx for the PIP. If you're doing the DIP, you're stabilizing the middle phalanx, and your pressure is on the distal phalanx. You could go in and test all of them all together and do more of a gross resistance here. If you wanted a gravity minimized position, the forearm can be in mid position and you're still stabilizing here. Watch for active extension. You can provide slight, let me go this way, slight resistance for extension here. Okay, we're going to stop and then we'll do thumb.